A lot of you guys have been asking me for my Mega Lucario EX deck profile, so here it is. I've taken this to like 6-7 league events. I had a couple of top finishes. I usually go X1, X2 with this. Nothing crazy. It's kind of hard to go XO with this deck in Swiss format, especially with Gardevoir being a thing. But anyway, here's the deck profile. So for the main cards, you have 3 Riolu and 3 Mega Lucario EX. You know what I love about Mega Lucario EX is it's not just a heavy hitter. For 1 energy, you hit for 130. For 2 energies, you hit for 270. That's some pretty big numbers for small energies. But the Aura Jab here, it's also an energy accelerator. So for Aura Jab, you hit your opponent and you send 3 fighting energies from the discard pile to any of your fighting Pokemon. So you can just start setting up your other attackers from that. So I think that's a really powerful card. It's not just an attacker, but it's also an energy accelerator. We also have a 2-2 line of Solrock and Lunatone. So 2 Solrocks, 2 Lunatones. So this is a pretty powerful draw engine. It works really well with the deck because you discard a fighting energy to draw 3 cards, and that fighting energy is just gonna come back after you use Aura Jab. And again, this is also an attacker. Solrock hits for 70 with 1 energy, and that's pretty good for a single price, basic Pokemon. You can take out a bunch of, baby Pokemon or just add a Power Plus Pro to knock out something a little bit bigger. I think that's pretty cool. We also have a 3-2 line of Makuhita and Hariyama. So Hariyama's ability is that it has the Heave-Ho Catcher, which is essentially boss orders. So you evolve, you gust your opponent's bench Pokemon, and knock out like a nice 2 prize or something like that with Lucario, Solrock, or even Hariyama, because when you use Aura Jab, you can charge up Hariyama's Wild Press and do 210 damages. So what's pretty cool here is, these are the only Pokemon in this deck. Everyone here has a function. Mega Lucario does energy acceleration, Solrock and Lunatone do the draw engine, and Hariyama is your gust. But they can all attack, and I think that's just pretty cool. Everyone here can attack. For the supporters, we have 4 copies of Lily's Determination, 3 copies of Iono for consistency and disruption, 2 copies of Professor's Research. That is a pretty straightforward card. You guys know what that does. I also have 1 copy of Boss Orders, just in case the Makuhitas and Hariyamas don't get to set up. If your opponent knows what they're doing, they're gonna try to take out your Makuhitas really early. So Boss Orders is my backup gust. I also have Professor Turo. This is such a useful card for this deck. You can use this to heal a Mega Lucario if it's damaged, prevent a 3 prize grab. You can also use it to scoop up a Hariyama to gust your opponent again by evolving another Makuhita. Or you can use it to, save yourself from a retreat lock deck. So that's the Professor Turo. And I also have a tech card here. I like playing Colress Tenacity. This card has some pretty interesting combinations. For setup, I like to use this to grab a fighting energy and an Artisan. So if I already have, for example, a Solrock, I use Colress to get fighting energy Artisan. Artisan gets me the Lunatone, and then the fighting energy lets me draw 3 cards. And so that's a pretty interesting combo. Later in the game, this can also be used aggressively. I can evolve a Makuhita to Hariyama, use Colress to get a reversal energy and a Town Store. Town Store gets me max belt, and now Hariyama can hit for 260, which is the perfect number to knock out a Goldengo all of a sudden without having to charge up Wild Press. So I love Colress Tenacity, such a useful card. For the items, we have 4 Fighting Gongs. We use this to search for the basics or search for fighting energy, a very flexible card. And to hit even harder, we have 4 copies of Premium Power Pro. So that's plus 30 for every card of that you play in a turn, and you can play as many items as you want. To search for the bigger Pokemon, we have 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Then to recover knocked out Pokemon or energy cards, we got Night Stretcher. So I can use this to get a Hariyama, then Gust, or get the missing Pokemon from Solrock Lunatone if one of them is knocked out and then draw, or get the Mega Lucario to evolve and stuff like that, or an energy if I want to draw. For other item tech cards, I also have 1 copy of Switch, 1 copy of Pokegear, and 1 copy of Palpad, so I can use Colress, Professor Sturo, or Boss Order if I need to again, or just bring back, supporters if I feel like I'm gonna get a Iono later in the game. Now for the stadiums, I have 2 copies of Artisan and 1 copy of Town Store. This gets me the tools, this gets me the Pokemon, very straightforward. For the tools, I have 2 copies of Air Balloon, 1 copy of Max Belt. This serves as our A-spec for the deck to just really hit hard. So the theme of this deck is really to just choose what Pokemon to knock out, hit it hard, try to get as many prizes as you can, as fast as you can, and go aggressive. And last but not least, for the energy cards, I run 9 copies of Fighting Energy and 1 Reversal Energy. And so that's not a very aesthetic thing to look at, but this is my deck profile for Mega Lucario EX. Let me know what you guys think. I am playing around with other ideas. I'm playing with maybe trying out cards like Hilda, a second Turo, stuff like that, or maybe even a second reversal, which feels really good, I guess, for the Goldengo matchup. Just having that reversal at the right time against Goldengo, super powerful. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and that's the deck list.